Alright, this is John Kohler with OKRaw.com. Today I'm in beautiful California, January 2010. Happy 2010. And for those of you that have the New Year's resolution of, I'm going to go 100% raw for 2010. Well, first, as a long-term raw fooder, I've been into raw foods and eaten 99.999% raw since 1995. I want to say, you know, you could go for it and definitely eat more raw foods in 2010, but I would highly caution you to maybe, redefine your goals of 100% raw. That's pretty strict, and I find that a lot of people maybe eat something a little bit cooked and then they blew the 100% thing, and then they get off raw foods completely. And I don't want that happening to you. I want you to be set up for success. I worked at my last corporate job was at Chuck E. Cheese Pizza, actually, and they had a term where they would want you to be set up for success, to succeed in your next shift or your next day of running the pizza restaurant. So I want you to be set up for success in your raw foods venture. And every day with raw foods, I want you to succeed and be happy that you're on this path and eating more fresh fruits and fresh vegetables in your diet, because after all, that's what raw foods is all about. So one of the sayings I like to say that I've heard is, by the inch, it's a cinch. By the yard, it's hard. So, by the yard is maybe like trying to go 100% raw foods in one day and just sticking with it for the rest of your life. And let me tell you, we've all had emotional eating and different things come up. And I've, had some issues in the past where I ate some cooked food, although I had a really strong reason to go raw, which we'll talk about in a second. So whether that goal is eating, 2 extra pieces of fruit a day, 1 head of greens a day, or making some fresh vegetable juice every day, 16 ounces, or a blended fresh fruit smoothie, let's have a more defined goal instead of a lofty 100% raw, goal that you may or may not succeed with. I've seen a lot of people maybe not do so well when they set those kinds of goals, unless of course they have a strong reason. So when I went raw, my reason to go 100% raw was because I almost lost my life. So if you have a strong enough reason, your sure willpower and fear of losing what you might lose, in my case it was my life, basically kept me 99.999% raw for the past 15 years, although it has been difficult at times, during emotional times, maybe big breakups with an ex-girlfriend, or some other things, other people around me maybe eating cooked foods. And I know we all don't live in that perfect world where everybody eats raw. We're inundated every day with TV, advertisements, media, friends and family that don't eat raw foods, and so it gets kind of challenging. So let's just be more consistent, and what I'd like to see you do is eat a little bit more raw foods every day and just get that in. And once you make these things a habit, you'll just find that you'll gradually eat more and more raw foods until the point where you may be 100% raw, or you may stop at 90-95%. I mean, whatever. The higher percentage of raw foods, the better. And what I mean by raw foods is this. I mean fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. We don't want to go to the raw food section in the store or visit your favorite raw food website and order the dehydrated kale chips. I mean, while that may be raw food, it's not the highest quality or the best raw food for us to eat. Many people are into raw foods because, number 1, their health, number 2, to have more energy, or number 3, to lose weight. And those foods aren't the best foods to basically provide you with those goals. What the foods that are, as you can see, I'm sitting here in my garden, is fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. So now let me go into my tips and tricks for you when you're going into raw foods. The first tip is eat fresh. Freshest is bestest is what I like to say. You want to eat the freshest food possible. So for me, what that means is growing it myself. I can't get any fresher than coming out here and picking my lettuce leaf or picking my collards or kale and literally eating it, in that instant while I'm grazing for my meal, or picking it and going inside and instantly juicing it. Or I have flowers here, violas in the front. I love to just pick and eat or put in salads. That's freshest is bestest. So grow your own, number 1. If you can't grow your own, buy from a local farmer, or from a farmer at the local farmer's market where he grew it, he harvested it, hopefully the day before or the day of, and then brought it to you. If you can't do that, then definitely Whole Foods or another organic supermarket where you can get organic foods. But if you can't get organics, that's fine. Eating raw foods that aren't organic is still better than eating you know, processed foods, you know, so let's get that out of the way now. But fresh is bestest and the highest quality you can, so hopefully you'll be able to grow it yourself. Next is you want to eat a variety of foods. So, you know, I've met a lot of raw foodists that eat, you know, bananas for lunch and romaine lettuce for dinner. They'll do that today, they'll do that tomorrow, they'll do that the next day. Boring! Besides being very boring, you know, we're missing out on a lot of nutrients. As you can see, I have different colors lettuce. I have red lettuce and green lettuce, and the bed behind that I have red boar kale, red Russian red Russian kale, and I have red chard and green chard and yellow chard and broccoli and cauliflower, all different varieties of foods. And I eat all different varieties of foods because in every different food, every different plant that grows, there's different, you know, vitamins, nutrients, antioxidants, phytochemicals, minerals, and we want to eat a variety. We want to eat a spectrum. We want to eat the rainbow. So eat a variety of fruits, always mix it up. So today if you have celery, you know, for dinner I like to take celery and chop it up into little pieces and put it in a big bowl. That is my salad instead of lettuce. I'll have celery for dinner tonight. Tomorrow night I'll put cauliflower in the food processor with the S-blade, process that up into little rice-like bits and put that in nori and roll that up in nori. Actually, I had that for dinner last night. The next night I'll have some red Russian kale. The following night I have some arugula growing on the other side of the yard. I have a salad full of arugula. So we want to be eating something different every single day. So the last thing I'd like to talk to you about is a way to basically, we want to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables in our diet, and that's what raw foods is about. And I guess we could eat them whole, blended, or juiced. So these are three definitely good ways to get more fresh foods in your body. Eat them fresh, you know, as in a salad, processing them in the food processor. I like to blend all my fruits, and usually with some coconut water, coconut meat, and have nice smoothies and eat my fruits whole. And I like to actually juice definitely the vegetables, especially the leafy green vegetables that are very hard to assimilate unless we chew really well, and most people don't chew well enough. So that's another tip there. Chew your food really well to get optimal digestion, and actually you'll find that you'll eat less if you chew your food really well. Alright, so this is John Kohler with OKRaw.com, and you could go raw in 2010, and be sure to visit OKRaw.com and check out my YouTube channel for further videos on raw foods.